Then hit a short straightaway before they race off into turn number one in front of Dave Moody from Barry, Vermont.
Thank you, Alex Hayden. Good evening, everyone. 31 degrees of banking here in turns 1 and 2 at Daytona. That's about 4 stories tall, wide enough to go 3 and even 4 wide in an emergency here at the west end or the inland end of Daytona International Speedway. They'll spill off onto the back straightaway. That super stretch that's banked only 5 degrees. The exit of turn 2 has been an action spot with pretty good regularity over the years here at Daytona. When they leave turn number 2, they'll race down that Daytona super stretch to the attention of Altamont, Illinois' Kurt Becker.
And thank you, Dave. 3,000 feet, the distance from the exit of turn number 2 to the entrance of turn number 3, when once again the field will climb up into 31 degrees of banking. To drivers right, a safer barrier. To drivers left on the backstretch, a wide paved runoff area. And then all the way down to the inside of the backstretch comes another safer barrier to drivers left. This is where a lot of shuffling will begin for positions. Drivers trying to decide to go left or right, which line of traffic they believe will move forward. Don't blink, you'll miss an opportunity to make a move. By the time they leave the super stretch and head up into turn number 3, they will race toward Tim Catalfamo of Marlboro, New Jersey.
Thank you very much, Kurt Becker. Good evening, everyone, here in turns 3 and 4 at Daytona International Speedway. On this end of the speedway, it's all about picking that fast line in the draft and having your dancing partner so you can go to the front and stay at the front. Kurt talked about the white safer barrier that lines this racetrack. There is also the double yellow line at the bottom. That is the out-of-bounds line. Drivers have to keep it in between those two areas tonight as they race through this section. There is something special about Daytona, whether it's the glitz or the glamour. There is something special about racing at this place, and I'll cover all the action in turns 3 and 4 tonight on top of the Sunoco Tower.
Field has gotten the 1-to-go signal as they make their pass through pit road to set their tachometers. We are less than 2.5 miles from starting the Wawa 250. Let's take a final sweep of pit road, and we'll start with Steve Post.
Mike, Daytona's one of those opportunity races, like back in 2022 when Jeremy Clements picked up his second career win. Talked to Jeremy before the race, and he said, up until the birth of my daughter, that was the single greatest event of my life. That's how important. Tim Catalfamo just talked about how special Daytona is. That's how important it is for Jeremy Clements. He's 19th in the points entering tonight's race. He finished 9th here in the spring. His best finish in 2025. He's going to need another one of those runs if he wants to go playoff racing. He starts in the 16th spot here tonight. Jason Toy.
And Steve Post, to continue on a little bit with that theme, let's talk about Patrick Emmerling, the modified driver from up in New York. He runs full-time in the way of the modified series, but occasionally making starts here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Asked him, why does a modified driver want to come to a big track like this? He said, because it's Daytona. You want to get the opportunity to race here, you take it, and that's what he's doing. He finished 10th back here in February. He's looking to continue that momentum here at the World Center of Racing. Wendy Venturini.
Junior Motorsports has 13 wins this season, but Carson Kvapil sits highest in points without a win yet in the Xfinity Series. Now, I just spoke to his father, Travis Kvapil, and he said he feels like he had this conversation with Carson, that he's in a position with 112 points to the good, sitting 9th in points with 3 races to go, that he could treat this race as just going for a win. He doesn't have to point race as much as some of the other competitors. So Travis Kvapil, his father, plenty of experience here at Daytona, giving son Carson some advice.
And that is a final sweep of the pit lane. Field works their way through turns 3 and 4. The lights here at Daytona on, dancing off of the paint schemes as the field makes their way onto the transition to the short straightaway to call the start of the Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola here at Daytona. For the Motor Racing Network from Milford, Delaware, here's Mike Bagley.
Buckle up and get ready for 100 laps of NASCAR Xfinity Series racing tonight from the World Center of Racing. Pace car is on pit road. The field is inching closer to the start-finish line. Green flag is up, and we are racing at Daytona. Everybody now slowly but surely coming up to the gearbox. Sam Mayer getting the jump on the outside line. It's important to note Connor Zilic has fallen to the tail end of the field. Therefore, Sammy Smith will lead the inside line to 1.
And they're going to be side by side into turns 1 and 2. Sammy Smith on the inside, Sam Mayer on the outside. 2 by 2 back outside the top 20.
Here's Austin Hill, works his way to the high side from the 3rd position. squares up behind the car of Sam Mayer. To the bottom side is where Sammy Smith goes to work. Justin Allgaier, his teammate, sets up right behind him off the end of the super stretch.
Now Sammy Smith, as a result of a nice bump draft courtesy of Justin Allgaier, will stretch out to the lead, but here comes Sam Mayer fighting back on the outside lane. They're still double wide for the top spot.
Neither driver at the front of the field wants to give an inch. They both want to lead the opening lap here at Daytona. It's going to be the inside lane by a fender. Sammy Smith will lead lap number 1, but he continues to have a full-on assault from the outside lane.
Front row starters continue to dance cheek to cheek into the banking of turn number 1 on lap number 2. Sammy on the inside, Sam on the outside. Sam Mayer in the high groove trying to get a wheel up in that outside lane.
Justin Allgaier works toward the bottom side of the racetrack coming up the super stretch. He's got Brandon Jones lined up behind him. Christian Eck is part of that inside line, but it's the outside lane going forward.
And that is Sam Mayer who will grab the lead into turn number 3. Now Mayer looks in his rearview mirror. He's got Austin Hill in lockstep formation behind him, all 4.
Here comes Sam Mayer. He had the shove into the lead and taking that Haas factory team Ford Mustang to the point, but just as quickly as that happened, here comes the inside line back downstairs. Sammy Smith will lead the charge. He's got drafting help from Justin Allgaier, Brandon Jones, and others.
Sammy Smith on the comeback trail goes to the low line. He creeps up into a half a car length lead, but he hasn't got Sam Mayer cleared. 3 laps now, side by side, back to the top 20.
Austin Hill works to the outside behind Sam Mayer. Carson Quapple is there. Harrison Burton is there. They all work right up next to the outside safer barrier off the end of the super stretch.
Fairly tame start here tonight at Daytona. Still double wide for the race lead. Sam Mayer up on the outside of the racetrack in his Ford Mustang. On the inside is Sammy Smith.
What's going to be really interesting here is when are they going to get that third lane going? Right now it's really 2 by 2 all the way through the whole field, but when is somebody like Jesse Love going to jump to the third lane and really make something happen?
Jesse Love, the driver right now, is just kind of biding his time. He's in the number 9 spot, but in the draft headed to 1.
It is indeed, though, a matter of time before somebody back around the tail end of that top 15 or 20 gets frisky and busts a move 3 wide. But for the moment, it's 2 by 2 all the way down the backstretch.
Chip Burton and Taylor Gray, they line up nose to tail right behind traffic just toward the tail end of the top 10 coming off the end of the super stretch. Up front is still Sam Mayer.
So it's Sam Mayer the leader by a bumper, but now here comes Sammy Smith on the inside of the racetrack to grab the lead back away. They continue to battle for the race lead. Battling for third wheel to wheel are Allgaier and Hill.
Looks like a high-speed pace lap as they come to the line to complete the 4th lap of the 100 will run here tonight. Sammy Smith out in front by a fender. Sam Mayer rallies back in the outside line. Dave, this is a 185-mile-an-hour seesaw game back to the corner.
Round and round and round they go. It's like a gigantic high-horsepower conga line. The entire length of the back straightaway. Sam Mayer, Sammy Smith, nose to nose.
With Justin Allgaier still down low right behind Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones fills up his rearview mirror. Here's Nick Sanchez, the first driver to stack them 3 wide to turn 3.
Nick Sanchez shoved a fender to the inside of the Christian Eckes Chevrolet. Now it's Eckes in the middle groove, working his way through turns 3 and 4.
Off turn number 4, 3 wide now from about the 14th position on back. Front 2 now still side by side, Sammy Smith and Sam Mayer, but it is shuffling up now, even closer to the top 10. Nick Sanchez, Dave, is the one making it happen.
That third line trying to muster up some momentum and gather some numbers. They have done so. They are up to about the 5th row back. It's 2 by 2 for the front 4 rows, 3 wide from there on back, led by Harrison Burton now.
And then Nick Sanchez down to the inside. They both work just right toward the tail end of the top 10, 8th and 9th respectively. Here's Jesse Love now. He works down to the inside, headed back to turn 3.
Jesse Love and his red and white Chevrolet pulls up alongside the Harrison Burton car. This is the side-by-side fight in the 5th row, headed off 4.
And Jesse Love positioned in the 10th spot right now, but looking to become a little restless back there, Steve Post. What's the driver of the Wheeland Chevrolet saying?
Oh, he's restless because that car is loose. I heard Cole Custer say maybe Jesse Love or someone jump out of line. It's not happening right now. He said, I'm wrecking loose and I just need to hang on. Danny Stockman trying to talk him off that ledge a little bit and keep him in line. So right now, Jesse Love fighting a loose race car and getting tucked back in line in the 10th spot.
So Cole Custer, how do you medicate a loose race car when you're stuck in the middle of a draft?
try not to put yourself in a really bad spot. Try not to put yourself in the middle is the biggest thing, because if you're in the middle, you're going to get the air taken off your right side door. It's going to be a tough situation to be in. So you try and mind your P's and Q's and make sure you don't put yourself in a spot you don't want to be in.
Right now, Jesse Love is 5th in line on the bottom of the racetrack. He has not been pushed into 3-wide formation. We've had a couple of pockets of 3-wide racing, but none at the moment. Now, Sammy Smith will get the surge. He'll take the lead all by himself. Matter of fact, he'll lead his 7th lap tonight, the only leader so far in the Wawa 250.
Yeah, but Sam Mayer's got some thoughts about creeping back up in that outside lane. Sammy Smith has got the lead by himself, side by side now for second, Allgaier and Mayer.
And then you've got Austin Hill. He is squared up right behind Sam Mayer along the outside lane. Here's Mayer trying to get a fender back alongside of the leader, but Sammy Smith guides the field to turn 3.
Sammy Smith a little bit too strong right now as he continues to hold the lead side by side for second. Allgaier and Mayer battling for that spot. They work their way back to the front straightaway.
They do indeed. Sam Mayer is topside.
Burton, his car gets kicked out of line. He goes for a long, lazy slide to the runoff control well before making any contact with the inside safety barrier, and he now continues on his way.
And we continue under the green flag. Trouble for Harrison Burton, who was on the playoff cutoff line when we came into this race. He took a spin on the back straightaway, running in the...
Barely getting by making minimum payments. With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-212-2828. 800-212-2828. That's 800-212-2828.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology, yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit e3sparkplugs.com to put the power in your hands.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, we are under the first caution flag of the evening, Alex, and it is not for debris or something that's happening on the racetrack.
No, it's from what's falling from the sky. It is raining here at Daytona. Well, that's not the news we need as the field slows down as Harrison Burton has finally made his way to pit lane. Steve Post.
Crush panel on the left rear of that car is all hanging out from under it. Had a left rear flat tire as well. Actually, it was weird because when you cue the radio, you could hear things banging up under the race car on the radio. So they're working on the left rear of the car, and they're also putting some attention on the right front of the Harrison Burton car. Crew Chief Danny Eflin said, we're going to lose a couple laps here, but we need to make sure we get this car fixed so we can get back to racing speed.
That's the last thing they were looking for tonight, Alex, coming into this race on the playoff cutoff line. 3 races to go in the regular season. Go ahead, give up a couple of laps now, thinking long-term of what could happen in the rest of this remainder of the regular season.
Right. If you're going to have a problem, at least it's happened early on. And Cole, history dictates that there may be a caution or a few here at Daytona throughout the running of the race.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of chances to get those laps back, but what he's never going to get back is the stage points that he's going to lose here. He's going to lose stage points in stage 1, stage 2 probably also. So he's going to need a good finish because this could really take a turn for the playoff bubble.
Well, Postman said that a crush panel was left onto the racetrack, but by looking at the NASCAR TV replay, the flaps are flopping around, the car is spinning around. When you go for a spin like that, what is the feel of the car after you've done that and maybe shed a crush panel or two?
Well, you could definitely lose some speed. Whenever you get those flaps flapping around, the flaps looked like they actually broke off. So that could really affect how the hood is sealed, and that could really affect some speed there. So we'll see if he has the car that can keep up here later in the race.
As the field works under the caution flag, pit road remains closed at the moment. Steve Post, this is a golden opportunity for a driver change should they elect to do it.
And it looks like they're going to elect to do it. Connor Zilich is the driver, and we talked about this, and they're going to bring that car down right now. They are set to go. Parker Kligerman standing right behind pit wall, and they're bringing the car right down to the attention of the crew. So Connor Zilich going to get out of this race car. Crew up on the pit box. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the team owner, on the pit box watching this as we see a driver change, something rare to NASCAR, as Connor Zilich brings that car down to the attention to the crew. Kligerman nervously standing here behind the race car, behind pit wall. A couple of crew members going to go over. The other thing is they need to make sure they're a little bit gingerly on the collarbone of Connor Zilich. As he now gets out of the race car, he gets out real quickly, and they make one small adjustment to the cockpit there, another small adjustment to the cockpit, and Parker Kligerman is getting ready to climb into the race car. That is really, really prompt as they continue to do one more adjustment on the seat, it looks like, or maybe a belt adjustment in the race car, but plenty of time here. The parade laps, the caution laps are really, really long, and now right leg over, left leg in. Parker Kligerman slides down into the cockpit of the Junior Motorsports Chevy as he gets ready to go. Crew member in the car or in the driver's side window, making sure he gets buckled in, and the driver change is just about over with Parker Kligerman climbing aboard the race car and Connor Zilich standing back here kind of watching it all take place behind the pit box.
And one of the things that was really interesting about that driver swap was it looked like they actually put Parker Kligerman's actual insert in the seat, and what they did to make Connor fit in there was just pour an insert inside of that insert. So all they had to do was Connor get out, he pulls the little insert that was in there, and then Parker's ready to go and is really comfortable in that car because it's his own seat.
So update your scorecards. Connor Zilich out of the 88 car for Junior Motorsports. Parker Kligerman has gotten in, and I know Parker was very appreciative for the broadcasting partners over at CW to release him of his broadcasting obligations when Junior Motorsports and Dale Earnhardt Jr. himself called Parker to be the relief driver for Connor Zilich. We hope to get a word from Connor. However, Parker Kligerman is aboard that Chevrolet.
That I could have finished the race for my team, but you know our WeatherTech Chevrolet will be as fast as Xfinity Mobile with or without me. So yeah, I'm excited to watch Parker go do his thing, and definitely not easy.
Any discomfort in the car and getting ready to go road racing next week? Just what's your thoughts immediately as far as the comfort in the race car?
Yeah, I'm all good in the car. I didn't feel anything that was alarming. You know, obviously I have soreness and you know, normal things that you would have 2 weeks after surgery, but no, much better than I anticipated.
Much better than he anticipated, and Parker Kligerman is perfectly capable of giving this car a good run. That's Connor Zilich.
And right now, Parker Kligerman has assumed the driving duties in that Junior Motorsports Chevrolet. He's posted 37th of the 38 drivers on the Speedway. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Hello? Hey, it's your man tank again. I just talked to the taste buds. We're all worried about you, Tim.
What do you mean? I love eating veggies. The crunch, I've never felt better.
You sure?
I think so.
You're really sure?
Yeah, man. Seriously.
You're not doing this to me, Tim. You're doing this to us. Just rip open some jerky, all right? Jack Link's Beef Jerky, official meat snack of NASCAR. Feed your wild side.
Back at Daytona International Speedway, just the slightest of rain showers right now at the World Center of Racing. We were held up a few moments for a lightning hold. We got the clearance on that, got under the green flag at lap 11. The caution flag flew for rain.
So here's how they're running. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, official partner of NASCAR. Fans of fast get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G with no contracts or hidden fees. Now at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless.
Sam Mayer leads. Sammy Smith rides in second. Austin Hill is third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Carson Quapple is fifth. Brandon Jones is sixth. Christian Eckes seventh. Matt DiBenedetto in eighth. Taylor Gray is ninth. And Leland Honeyman is up to position number 10.
Anthony Alfredo is 11th. William Sawalich is 12th. Dean Thompson 13th. Jeb Burton is 14th. Sheldon Creed 15th. Eric Almirola is being scored in the 16th spot. 17th is Jesse Love. 18th Nick Sanchez. 19th Justin Haley. And Ryan Sieg is 20th.
Daniel Dye is 21st. Blaine Perkins is 22nd with Jeremy Clements 23rd. Kyle Sieg 24th. Rajat Karuth is up to 25th. 26th is Josh Williams. Brendan Poole is 27th. 28th is Patrick Emmerling. Joey Gase is 29th. And Josh Bolicki is 30th.
Garrett Smithley 31st. Ryan Ellis 32nd. Natalie Decker is 33rd. Mason Maggio 34th. Cesar Baccarella is 35th. Now you've got the car of Parker Kligerman in for Connor Zilich is 36th. Parker Retzloff back in 37th. And Harrison Burton is one lap down now, back in 38th.
Here comes the pace car to the opening of pit road. Pit road is open. The green light is on. Anybody can come down right now for service, and there are going to be a couple of takers. We mentioned earlier that Jesse Love experiencing a very loose race car. He is going to make a trip to pit road, but right now Nick Sanchez is in front of Wendy Venturini.
A lot of these teams are opting to go ahead and top off, but Nick Sanchez and his team, they're going to change 4 tires. They almost have a tire go all over the line, but some other drivers down here are also Brennan Poole.
As he makes his way back out on the track, Steve Post, did anybody come down in front of you?
Jesse Love brings his car into the attention of the crew. It was 3 rounds on the right side with a chassis adjustment, 2 rounds on the left side to try to tighten up that race car. Sunoco Racing fuel in, Goodyear Racing Eagles on the wheel in Chevrolet. So Jesse Love down and away. Jason Toy, how about drivers in front of you?
Pretty quiet down in the middle section of pit road, but one update for you on Austin Hill. He talked back to the crew and had them check that left front tire. He said, am I low on the tire? I'm dragging the nose a lot more than what I've been used to here at this racetrack. They assured him that everything was all right. They'll make a little bit of adjustment for him when they come down for their first pit stop, but he stayed out right now for the 3-time Daytona winner.
Well, that's how it is. Just a handful of drivers making the way to pit lane. Parker Retzloff has been on and off pit road. Cole Custer, the power steering is gone on that car now. That's a challenge at a lot of racetracks. How difficult is that in the draft at Daytona?
Definitely a place you want power steering. You know, with how tight it is in the pack, it's very hard to be aggressive if you don't have the steering working.
Just showing off, but we're not mad. In fact, we're looking forward to it. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Kansas Speedway, September 26th through the 28th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Welcome to Paradise. With the Platinum Card, unlock over $1,500 back in value annually on select purchases across travel, entertainment, and dining. Now let's make our trip next level. Hottest restaurant? Booked with Frezzy. Unforgettable experiences? Event access? Endless vibes. Late hotel checkout? Yes, please. Platinum Card membership for a trip that's nothing less than iconic. Learn more at americanexpress.com/explore-platinum. Terms apply.
Jeff Gordon wins the Daytona 500. Jeff Gordon's rise to one of NASCAR's all-time greatest drivers was one like no other. Relive Jeff Gordon's journey to the NASCAR Hall of Fame with the exclusive MRN podcast, Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career. 93 Cup Series wins, 4 Cup Series championships, and 3 Daytona 500 wins, a career rivaled by few others. Check out MRN's Jeff Gordon, A Colorful Career on podcast platforms and MRN.com.
Back at Daytona, field has just gotten a 1-to-go signal. Mom Nature has turned off the clouds, and we're getting ready to get back at it here at the World Center of Racing. When we do, it'll be 11 laps to go in this opening stage. Sam Mayer leads. Sammy Smith second. Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier, and Carson Quapple are the starting 5 at the top of the leaderboard.
So, Cole Custer, we've had this now take place, and it's going to be, I'm assuming, get all you can get to try to get stage points now.
it's going to get crazy. All these guys, especially Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, they're going to be trying as hard as they can to get these stage points for the regular season championship. So they're going to be going hard to get all they can, and it's going to be interesting. You always see the pushing and shoving get a little bit extreme at the end of these stages.
Yeah, it's a lot of playoff points up for grabs. Obviously, a playoff point for winning, but stage points up for grabs as everybody tries to pad their points going into Portland next weekend.
And with the end of the stage, which will be in 11 more laps, that means another caution flag. And there's only one car a lap down right now. That's Harrison Burton. So he'll get not one, but both laps back here. With this caution, he gets one, and potentially, if he's the only car still left a lap down here in another 11 laps, he'll get 2 laps back here before the end of the first stage.
All he has to do is just bide his time. The restart has been waved off. We'll go at least one more lap around, and then that will leave us with 10 laps to go in this stage.
Let's check in with our turn announcers right now, get a quick weather report out there in turns 1 and 2 is Dave Moody.
I don't know what y'all were complaining about because we never got so much as a sprinkle out here. It's been perfectly dry, no problems whatsoever at this end of the racetrack.
Kurt Becker on the backstretch.
Maybe one drop to the left of our position, one drop to the right. That was it. We're ready to go.
Tim Catalfamo in turns 3 and 4.
I would say it's about the same story over here in turns 3 and 4. We get a big drop every now and then and a couple of sprinkles, but nothing that's been anything really significant.
Well, as we continue to work, we just got the 1 to go signal yet again. We've had the benefit, Cole Custer, of NASCAR TV being able to see something a little bit unusual right now with Harrison Burton, who got turned around on the Daytona Super Stretch just a few laps ago, back on lap number 10 as a matter of fact. Did not bring out the caution, but he did lose a crush panel. Is there something going on with the driver by what you've been able to see?
Well, it actually looks like he got something in his left eye. He's been trying to spray his face with water and his eye with water. He's been trying to take his glove off and trying to get stuff out of his eye. So, having no crush panel in there, it's allowed dirt or metal or whatever it is to get in there. Now he's trying to, save his race and trying not to pull in and trying to get it all worked out.
I know years ago Todd Bodine had contact lenses come out at Watkins Glen. Harrison's got something in his eye. Have you ever had to do something like that where you're in a period of discomfort and you got to get that buttoned up before you go back under the green flag?
Yeah, I've never had a huge issue like that, having something get in my eye or something that is really catastrophic, but it is something you have to pay attention to because the second you blow a crush panel out or your visor's open, anything can get in there and cause problems.
He's going to have to tough it out here. Again, he's the only car a lap down, hoping this next caution flag 11 laps away. If not sooner, if we have a caution flag, he can get another free pass and get back on the lead lap. He's the only car a lap down. Again, credit to the Junior Motorsports team with the driver change. Connor Zilic started the car. He's out of the car. Parker Kligerman is in it. Mike, they did all that without losing a lap.
Incredible. And we're waving off the restart again. So now the field will come to the line. 20 laps are complete in the opening stage, and now we will get another 1 to go signal. Sam Mayer leads. Sammy Smith is second. Austin Hill is third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Brandon Jones will restart in fifth. Carson Quapple will restart in sixth, with Matt DiBenedetto in seventh. Christian Eckes in eighth. Taylor Gray ninth, and Leland Honeyman in 10th.
I mentioned Parker Kligerman is aboard the WeatherTech Chevrolet that Connor Zilic started. Steve Post, as we just got the 1 to go yet again, he's the only car that, for whatever reason, elected to come back to pit road.
This is the second time they've come in, and all they're doing is topping it off with fuel. The man has the Sunoco fuel can plugged in and down and away, and it's just a matter of, we talk about this on Cup Series races, spend as little time on pit road as possible, and you fill it up with fuel now, and that way when you have a pit stop with everyone else, they'll need to take less fuel. They're already at the back of the pack. They're back down and away.
Well, and the equivalent of that, Alex, is when you pull up to your Sunoco fuel pump on the road and you're clicking, you're topping off. They tell you not to top off, but we top off anyway. Click, 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 a little backsplash. That car is packed full of fuel right now.
It is, but the less time you sit on the pit lane compared to the competition, well, that's more time that you gain in the race. So it's just a simple matter. You're not giving up track position because of the driver change. They were already at the tail end of the field. So I like the call there. It's a heads-up play to be able to come down and continue to top it off. So we'll wait and see, and hopefully we'll be able to get the green flag back in the air as Jason Brownlow, the pace car driver, works his way around the racetrack with the field 2x2 in tow, which they've already chosen what lane to restart in. I don't think it matters a whole lot here at Daytona. Or does it, Cole? What lane to restart in?
Well, usually you're going to have more options when you're up on the top lane. You can go to the third lane, you can go to the middle, where on the bottom there's a lot of times where you just get trapped. You're just stuck behind the guy behind you or in front of you, and you can't get to the top because there's guys outside of you. So really, you have a lot more options to go somewhere if you do restart up top.
And it looks like right now on the racetrack that another shower's popped up out of turn number 4, so much so that instead of waving off another restart, they're bringing the field down the pit lane. Tim Catalfemo, are you the culprit out there in turn 4?
Well, I certainly don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but literally about 15-20 seconds after I made my last report when you guys swept around the racetrack, the rain then started to come a little bit harder, and now it's a steady mist to a very light sprinkle. It's just enough, and it's just annoying enough for these drivers and, of course, NASCAR that they really don't have much of a choice here. But it's not a really heavy rain. It's just enough, and it's steady enough that now it definitely is starting to get wet over here in turn 4.
And again, looking at the radar, it is the smallest of green cells that just happens to be over there. You know, we talk about it so many times, Mike. This is a vast facility, and to have a little sprinkle or a heavy mist, as Tim just reported in turn 4, well, Dave Moody was just giving us the business a moment ago.